A new day brought a new morning. It was time for breakfast, and everyone was present at the dining table, except one person, Lily Anderson. Elena was sitting blankly at the table, lost in her thoughts, while the others were chatting about daily chores and routine matters. "Elena, is Lily coming for breakfast?" Anne asked, looking at Elena. "Why, yes, Mama, I'll bring her," Elena replied in a fumbling tone. She immediately stood up from her chair and, without wasting a moment, walked straight toward Lily's room. She stopped in front of the closed door of Lily's bedroom and knocked. She waited and waited, but there was no reply from the other side. She knocked again, this time harder than before. Still, there was no response. The situation began pulling Elena into a pit of anxiety. She remembered the previous day's incident, how Lily had seemed trapped in some deep dilemma. As those memories surfaced, countless frightening thoughts flooded her mind, and she nervously swallowed. "Lily!" Elena shouted, knocking violently on the door, but even then there was no reply. She stepped back, positioning herself to kick the door open with full force. She pulled her left leg back and rushed forward, but before she could raise her leg, the door suddenly opened. Elena's eyes widened. She couldn't stop herself in time and crashed straight into the person standing at the door. Both of them staggered a few steps before reflexively falling onto the bed. Elena ended up on top of the woman she loved, but the atmosphere and emotions were completely different from before. Her head rested in the crook of Lily's neck for a few seconds. She had regained her senses, yet she didn't move away, as if the evil queen was trying to reclaim the lost peace born from merciless longing. "Elena," Lily whispered. Elena lifted her face. She looked at Lily. There was barely an inch of distance between their faces. But the moment Elena met Lily's eyes, uneasiness crept into her heart. Lily's eyes looked exhausted, dark circles surrounding them, her pupils unnaturally dilated. Elena kept staring at her when, reflexively, Lily placed her right hand on Elena's waist and pulled her closer. Elena went numb the instant Lily's hand touched her skin. Without wasting a single second, Lily crashed her lips onto Elena. Lily rubbed her lips against Elena, trying to feel her presence. Her fingers moved sensually along Elena's waist as she gently sucked her lower lip. Suddenly, Elena realized what was happening. She shoved Lily harshly onto the bed and immediately stood up. Elena stepped back from the bed and looked at Lily with disgust. At the same time, Lily's eyes flew open in shock as she stared blankly at Elena. She still couldn't distinguish between reality and illusion and continued to look at her in silence. "What do you think you were doing?" Elena yelled in rage, her voice shaking Lily to her core. "How many times do I have to repeat the same damn thing, Officer Lily Anderson? There is nothing between us, and all the blame for this lies with you. Do you really think that Mama's arrival will make me forget everything? You're living in a huge misunderstanding." With that, Elena left the room, slamming the door shut behind her with a loud thud. Lily clenched the bedsheet with trembling hands and lowered her head. Her heart thudded violently against her chest, as if it would tear through her skin at any moment. "Just a few hours, just a matter of a few hours, Elena. I'm going to punish the culprits. I don't know how you'll react after this, but this is all I can give you in the end," Lily murmured through her tears and hiccups, remaining seated there for a long time. It was evening, and Elena was sitting in her bedroom, searching for something. "Karina, do you know where I kept my journal?" Elena asked while looking around. Karina glanced at her briefly and said, "Elena, ma'am, you have a journal too. Since when? And what do you even write in it? Who you scolded today, who you beat up, who you broke, who you dragged?" she asked innocently yet excitedly. Karina immediately received a death glare from the evil queen. Elena shook her head in a silent no and paused for a moment when she suddenly remembered that her journal was in one of the guest rooms, where Lily was currently staying. "Oh, I remember now," she murmured and walked toward Lily's room. Elena knocked on the door but found it open. She looked around and realized that Lily wasn't present. Without giving it much thought, she walked inside and moved toward the table placed near the couch. Which drawer did I keep the journal in that day?" she asked herself, trying to recall but failed. Let me check both. If it's here, it has to be in one of them, she muttered. She moved to the left drawer of the table, placed her hand on the handle, and pulled it open. The moment her eyes fell on the items inside the drawer, they widened. She was shocked to her core, struggling to process what she was seeing. With trembling hands, Elena picked up the items and examined them carefully from every angle. The sticker-like objects she was holding could easily be mistaken for ordinary stationery stickers by anyone else. But Elena was sharp enough to understand exactly what they were. She clenched her teeth as anger took over her. She moved toward the dustbin and found the backing papers of those stickers inside. Along with them, she also spotted a used syringe. She immediately picked it up using her handkerchief. What the hell is wrong with this woman? Elena muttered under her breath and stormed outside in rage. Lily Anderson, she screamed at the top of her lungs. Karina and Victor immediately rushed toward the evil queen. Fortunately, Anne wasn't present inside the house at that moment, which somehow prevented the situation from getting worse. Where the fuck are you, Lily? Elena yelled again, her voice even louder this time. Suddenly, one of the guards standing in a corner of the hall spoke up. Sorry to interrupt, ma'am, but Madam Licky is not here. She went out somewhere a few hours ago. Ma'am, what happened? Karina asked, completely clueless. In response, Elena slammed the sticker-like items onto the table with all her force and shouted, Do you know what the fuck this is? I found this in Lily's room, and obviously no one else goes into that room, so yes, it belongs to her. Victor picked up one of the items and looked at the back sheet. Shock was clearly visible on his face as he said, this is LSD. Karina looked at him blankly. Meaning? Karina, it's a drug fact sheet. LSD is a hallucinogen. It has a very high potential for abuse and is illegal here, Victor explained. Karina froze in shock. So this means Lily is taking drugs. But why? Karina asked in a trembling voice. There's something very wrong here, Elena replied. Her behavior has been extremely strange for the past few days. She recalled the recent incidents. Whenever I saw her in the mornings, her body temperature felt unusually high, and her pupils were dilated too. Elena was still trying to understand why a smart and intelligent woman like Lily would choose such a path when she suddenly remembered something. Lily wasn't here. Her leaving without informing anyone, that too in an unfamiliar country, and Commander Claire's disappearance, are these two things connected? Elena questioned herself, stepping back. No, nuo this. This can't be possible. Lily, why yes, she can't do this. Karina, quickly track Lily's location. If what I'm suspecting is true, then I have to stop her. Send me the location immediately. Fast, Elena said restlessly and rushed out of the house. The evil queen slid into her Bugatti La Voiture Noire, twisted the keys of the magnificent car, and started the engine. She had barely left her property when her phone rang. She answered the call through her AirPods and said impatiently, Yes, Kayana, speak. Ma'am, I'm unable to find Lily's current location, but she was in the Denny's Block area for nearly 2 hours, Karina reported. Denny's Block? Elena asked, confused. But that place has been abandoned for more than a year. What was she doing there? And for 2 fucking hours, something is very fishy here. Thanks, Karina. Good job, Elena said before disconnecting the call. 2 hours earlier. Lily reached Denny's Block and entered the building where she had kept Claire captive. She kicked open the door of the room with a loud thud and stormed inside in rage. Hearing the heavy footsteps approaching, a half-dead Claire slowly lifted her head, only to see the very person she feared the most standing in front of her. Claire looked at Lily and immediately sensed the fury burning within her. Before she could utter a single word, a brutal, powerful kick landed on her face, sending her crashing to the floor. Lily grabbed the chain tied to Claire's wrist and yanked it violently. Claire was forced to her feet, only to collapse again at Lily's feet. Lily crouched down to Claire's level, grabbed her by the hair, and hissed, The endgame is near, asshole. Start the fucking countdown. Because tonight, you're going to count your final breaths. Lily announced coldly. No, please, please, Lily, don't do this. Give me any other punishment, but not this, Claire begged, folding her hands in front of Lily. Lily only tightened her grip on Claire's hair. Shut up! No one can save you today. And this blame game you're playing, saying you did this or that with Elena, blah blah, all that nonsense, Lily said mockingly, grinding her teeth. Because of that, it's becoming way too hard for me to delay your death even for a few more hours. Lily pulled out a pistol from the inner pocket of her leather jacket and mercilessly shoved it into Claire's mouth. I feel like emptying the entire magazine right now, but you'll have to wait a little longer. As you know, the Canadian police are searching for you, so I also need to stage your fake death there. Just a few more hours and you'll be free from this pain. Forever, Commander Claire, Lily announced in a demonic tone, bursting into cruel laughter. This side of Lily was far more terrifying and dangerous than anyone could ever imagine. No one, not even in their worst nightmares, could have thought that the super cop who once walked the path of emotions would one day turn into a demon queen. Lily pulled the pistol out of Claire's mouth and turned to leave when Claire grabbed her feet. No, Lily, please, please let me go, for God's sake. Give me any other punishment, but not this, please, Claire begged, tears streaming uncontrollably down her face. Lily, filled with rage, kicked her in the face once again and walked away, leaving behind a shattered and terrified Claire. Meanwhile, Elena pushed the accelerator harder and rushed toward the landmark to unravel the unsolved mystery. She was driving at a speed of 120 kilometers per hour, which allowed her to reach the location much earlier than expected. She parked the car before entering Denny's block and began moving forward on tiptoe. The place carried an eerie, haunted aura. Elena glanced down at the muddy ground and noticed fresh tire marks. Being a car enthusiast, it didn't take her long to identify them. They were tire marks of a Mercedes-Benz. She remembered that when she had entered her garage earlier, her Mercedes-Benz was missing. Connecting the dots, the Queen concluded that Lily was definitely here. Elena moved forward, following the tire marks, and stopped in front of an abandoned building where the marks began to fade. She looked around and noticed a back door at the exit side of the building. I don't know why, but I think it's better to enter from the exit. If there's any danger, I'll still have a chance to escape, Elena murmured to herself. She pulled out her revolver from the holster. Moving on tiptoe, she approached the exit and fixed her gaze on the door. Taking a nervous breath, she kicked it open with a loud thud and immediately took a firing position, ready to shoot if anyone appeared from inside. She waited for a few seconds. When no one emerged, she slowly stepped inside. She checked the corners but found no guards or anyone else present. Moving forward, she realized she had entered a room. The room was dimly lit with a red glow. As Elena advanced, she noticed a strange mixture beneath her feet. She looked down and saw water mixed with a deep red shade. She wondered what it could be, searching for answers while staring at the floor, when her gaze shifted to long metal chains scattered across it. Her eyes followed the chains, and what she saw next made her heart skip a beat. She saw someone mercilessly bound by those chains, tied at the wrists, ankles, and even around the waist. The prey's head was bowed as Elena stared at her in numb disbelief. Every inch of her skin bore inhuman wounds, leaving Elena struggling to comprehend how someone could be so merciless. She took a few steps forward, when suddenly, the woman bound in chains lifted her head, perhaps thinking that death itself had finally arrived at her doorstep. The moment she looked up, Elena froze. Half of the woman's face was smeared with blood, yet Elena could still recognize her. Claire, she whispered in shock. Claire looked back at Elena, her eyes overflowing with pain and guilt. The evil queen rushed toward her and crouched down in front of her. Taking in her naked, battered body, Elena murmured, Who did this to you? Who put you in this condition?" There was no response from Claire. For a few moments, Elena stood there like a statue. Then Claire slowly raised her hands, still bound tightly in metal chains. Her hands trembled violently as she folded them in front of Elena and spoke in a broken voice. "And now I understand. I understand how terribly I wronged you. I was wrong, and maybe this is the punishment I deserve. But what about my family? Why should they suffer for my sins? Your heart is very big, Elena. If possible, please forgive me. I'm ready to spend my entire life as your servant. But please, please grant me my life. Please. Claire broke down completely, pouring her heart out in front of Elena, while Elena could only stare at her in shock. I don't have any enmity toward you, Claire, Elena said quietly. That's why, after everything that happened back then, I let you go so you could live your life. But who did this to you? And why are you asking me for mercy? She asked, gripping Claire by the shoulders. Lily, Claire murmured. The name hit Elena like a blow, leaving her traumatized. Lily is obsessed with killing me. Please, please save me. Elena, she will kill me, Claire cried helplessly. Elena remained frozen, unable to move, unable to think. Calm down, no one will be able to harm you, Elena said with determination. She continued, I'm here with you. Lily won't be able to kill you, don't worry at all. Elena reassured Claire, while Claire stood in front of her with folded hands, still trembling. On the other side, Lily was sitting in one of her confidential dens, working on something important. Suddenly, her gaze fell on one of the computer screens tracking Claire's presence inside the building. That's when she noticed another dot near Claire's location, indicating that someone else was also present in the room. Lily's blood boiled instantly. She stood up in fury. Ah! She screamed in rage and muttered angrily. How dare someone else enter that room? Looks like today, along with Claire, I'll have to bury someone else as well. Saying this, she grabbed a rifle mounted on the wall and began loading bullets into it. Time for the endgame, Commander Claire and her so-called savior, Lily declared coldly.